It all started at a wedding, where I saw Lennard for the first time and felt a jolt of electricity course through me. His smile lit up the room like a beacon, and I was swept up in a whirlwind of enchantment, as if I had awakened from a long, suffocating slumber. We danced beneath twinkling lights, lost in an intoxicating rhythm, our laughter mingling with the music. I remember thinking, this must be what love feels like, blissfully unaware that this night would mark the beginning of a love story that would soon spiral into a haunting nightmare. When I received his text a week later, my heart raced wildly. It felt like fate had beckoned me. Soon we were inseparable, our lives intertwined in a passionate whirlwind, each moment a promise of shared dreams and eternal happiness. 2 years later, he proposed, and I said yes, with tears streaming down my cheeks, imagining a future filled with love and laughter. Yet deep down, a sense of foreboding lingered, a whisper of something dark brewing beneath our seemingly perfect surface. Our wedding was magical, every detail falling into place, but I remember feeling a flicker of unease. It felt like the pinnacle of our happiness, a dazzling facade hiding the storm that was quietly gathering strength. As the months rolled on, I began to notice small changes in Lennard. His phone became a fortress, and late-night outings turned into a weekly ritual that left me hollow. Our once vibrant intimacy became a distant memory, replaced by a suffocating silence that filled our home. I tried to communicate my feelings, but every time I brought it up, he brushed me off with a dismissive laugh, insisting I was just being paranoid. Each rejection deepened the chasm between us, isolating me in my own spiraling thoughts. The distance festered until it became unbearable. I stopped giving him kisses goodbye, retreating into a cold, desolate world where he didn't exist. The silence in our home grew heavier, suffocating me with its weight. One night, driven by an instinct I couldn't shake, I took his phone and laptop while he slept. My heart pounded in my chest as I scrolled through his messages, praying to find nothing alarming, desperate for reassurance that my fears were unfounded. But I found nothing to comfort me. In my desperation, I checked his car and discovered a second phone hidden away, feeling as if a dagger had pierced my heart. The realization of betrayal crashed over me like a tidal wave, drowning me in despair. I gasped for air as I opened that phone, reading every message and viewing every photo. Each revelation tore deeper at the fabric of my trust, igniting a rage within me that I had never known. I felt like I was unraveling, piece by piece. Hours passed as I printed every piece of evidence, the sound of the printer echoing in the silence of my office. In that moment, I felt a surge of power, a desperate resolve building within me to confront the lies that had choked our love. But the power quickly turned to dread when I discovered the woman was my friend. Betrayal twisted the knife deeper, leaving me gasping as I envisioned the duplicity from both sides, the world around me blurring in a haze of disbelief. I exploded in my office, rage spilling over like a volcano. When Lennard came to check on me, I screamed for him to leave. I had never raised my voice at him before, and the shock of it startled even me. In need of escape, I called a friend, my voice trembling as I begged him to meet me for drinks. I needed someone to share this unbearable burden with, someone to help me feel less alone in this chaotic storm. At the bar, the alcohol flowed as freely as my tears. When my friend arrived, I laid it all bare, my heart shattered, my husband's betrayal spilling out like a crime scene laid before him. When I revealed the identity of the woman, my friend's face darkened, a mirror reflecting my own turmoil. I implored him to keep it quiet, until I was ready to confront them both. I needed time to gather my strength. The night blurred into a haze of shots and bitter laughter, but as I stumbled home, the weight of reality crashed back in. I was still married to a man who had shattered my world in the worst possible way. Morning light brought clarity, a sharp reminder of the meeting I had scheduled with a divorce lawyer, the first step toward reclaiming my shattered life. Lennard made breakfast, the smell of eggs and bacon swirling around me. As he asked about my mood, I played my part, lying through a tight smile, my insides churning with secrets and a simmering volcano of emotions. The meeting with the lawyer went smoothly. Every word he spoke felt like a lifeline thrown into my stormy sea. I left his office with a sense of purpose, ready to confront Lennard with the damning evidence I had gathered. But when I got home, he wasn't there. Impatience gnawed at me and I called him, my voice steady as I demanded he return home immediately. I needed answers, and I needed them now. When he finally walked in, confusion clouded his eyes. I couldn't help but taunt him, reminding him of the distance he had created between us, the chasm that now felt insurmountable. He stumbled over his words, trying to deny everything, but I silenced him with the evidence. Each printed page was a piece of my broken heart laid bare before him, and I could see the color drain from his face. His tears only fueled my anger. I felt nothing but contempt for the man who had so easily shattered our vows. I told him to leave, my voice steady even as the storm raged inside me. He begged me to listen, to understand, but I couldn't bear to hear his excuses. I was done. I told him to gather his things and get out of my life for good, my heart pounding with a mix of relief and sorrow. 3 days passed in silence, and my heart raced with anticipation and dread. I wondered if he would fight for me or simply allow me to walk away, the uncertainty gnawing at my sanity. Curiosity consumed me as I wondered what he was doing, if he was with her, and the thought made me sick. A toxic mixture of betrayal and jealousy flooded my veins, poisoning my thoughts. I reached out to my father, seeking the comfort of family. When I told him everything, his support wrapped around me like a warm blanket, grounding me in the chaos of my emotions. I reached out to Lennard's family, crafting a message to inform them of the divorce. Their suffocating concern felt like a relief to escape. With every word I typed, I felt a little lighter, a little more free. But the weight returned when I called my friend's fiancé, a knot forming in my stomach as I prepared to lay the truth bare before him, knowing it would shatter his world too, just as mine had been shattered. When we met for coffee, his face paled as I recounted the betrayal. For a moment, guilt washed over me. Was I doing the right thing? Was revenge justified when innocent lives were at stake? But seeing his disbelief confirmed that I was not the only one caught in this web of lies. I handed him the evidence, feeling a strange sense of solidarity in our shared pain, as if we were two survivors navigating the wreckage together. In the days that followed, I found solace in the chaos, pouring my heart into my work and leaning on friends who rallied around me, offering support and distraction from the storm swirling inside. I scheduled an appointment at the doctor's office, anxiety gnawing at me as I waited for my checkup, the reality of my situation looming like a dark cloud overhead. When my sister-in-law showed up at my door, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. She cooked breakfast and offered companionship, her presence a balm to my wounded heart, a reminder that I was not alone in this fight. But as she left, the weight of my decisions crashed down again. I was alone in this battle, but at least I had clarity. I was determined to forge a new path away from Lennard. I took off to my cabin, seeking solace in nature, where I could clear my mind and reflect on what I truly wanted, unhindered by Lennard's suffocating presence. When I returned home, I reached out to my friend's fiancé again. We met and shared our struggles, finding strength in our shared stories of betrayal. We were comrades in this war against heartbreak. I received news from my lawyer that Lennard had been served, and a mix of relief and apprehension flooded me. The reality of our impending divorce settled in, a bittersweet victory in the midst of my pain. My sister-in-law called to tell me Lennard hadn't left his room since the papers were served. A part of me felt pity for him, but it quickly evaporated, overshadowed by the depth of my own suffering. It wasn't long before Lennard came banging on my door, his face twisted in rage. My heart raced with a mix of fear and determination. I was ready to face him, to confront the man who had shattered my life. When my friend arrived, recording everything, I felt a surge of hope. I wasn't alone in this fight. Together, we faced the storm that was Lennard, prepared for whatever he would throw at us. He unleashed a torrent of insults, but I stood my ground. When he slapped my friend, I felt a rush of adrenaline. It was time to call the police. In that moment, I finally felt a glimmer of justice for all the pain he had caused. Seeing him handcuffed and led away was a bittersweet moment. It felt like the end of a chapter, but the pain of betrayal was still fresh, still raw, a wound that would take time to heal. As the days turned into weeks, I focused on healing, leaning into my coaching job, finding joy in helping young athletes discover their passions. It became my sanctuary, a place where I could channel my pain into something positive. My lawyer informed me that we could settle outside of court, and I felt a sense of relief wash over me. I was ready to move forward, leaving Lennard and the ghosts of our past behind. When the day came for the settlement meeting, I walked in with my head held high, determined to reclaim my life and my heart, ready to take back what he had stolen from me. Lennard sat across from me, his eyes red from crying, and as my lawyer presented the evidence, I felt a strange mix of pity and strength. I was no longer the woman he had broken. I was a survivor, ready to reclaim my narrative. He begged for forgiveness, but I reminded him that there was nothing he could say that would erase the pain he caused. I was done with his games, done with his lies, and I would no longer be his victim. When he signed the papers, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I was no longer tied to him. The future stretched out before me, uncertain but filled with a flicker of hope. As I walked out of that lawyer's office, I felt a spark of freedom ignite within me. I was ready to take back my life, piece by piece, moment by moment, beginning the long journey toward healing. Thank you for following my journey. It's been a dark chapter filled with pain and betrayal, but I'm determined to find the light again, one step at a time, and reclaim the happiness that is rightfully mine. Thank you for watching. For more real stories and powerful dramas, be sure to like, subscribe, and explore our I Wove You 2 channel.